These are this afternoon's top stories. Local entrepreneurs to capitalize on business ideas. Warnings of bank phishing scam in Antigua and Barbuda. And paralyzed U.S. teen makes remarkable recovery. Good afternoon. Welcome to the ZIZ Mid newscast. Today is Friday, 4th September 2015. I am Nisha David. In national news, local entrepreneurs in St. Kitts and Nevis are being given the opportunity to capitalize on their business ideas through a special fund that has been set up at the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis, courtesy of the partnership between the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela and the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. It was obviously a proud moment for the country's Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, when he and representatives of PDVSA St. Kitts and the government of Venezuela signed the documents to make official the beginning of the Fresh Start program. Dr. Harris said, through the arrangement, locals can start businesses.
And this particular arrangement, which we call the Fresh Start project, is intended to give, as it says, a fresh start to young and not so young entrepreneurs, those who otherwise are finding it difficult to be able to access financing from the commercial financial enterprises.
Maria Colmenares of PDVSA spoke with pride of the arrangement and pledged to continue supporting the local government and the people of St. Kitts and Nevis by extension.
As when we think of the Petro-Carib agreement, most people just think of oil supplying fuel for our generation plan, but it's much more than oil. It's about our social, cultural, and of course our economic development.
Meantime, Honorable Ian Libert, who is the minister who oversees matters relating to Petro-Carib agreement, said the arrangement encompasses far more than oil matters. The Rams hitters managed to level the series in last night's highly anticipated Game 2 of the St. Kitts Nevis Amateur Basketball Association Premier Division Finals against the Kittitian Hill St. Paul's Tough Nuts. In a keenly contested match, the Rams hitters was down in the first half of the game. By the end of the third quarter, hitters was up 47-45. At the final whistle, hitters swept away Game 2 with 76 points, leaving St. Paul's at 67. Lead scorer for hitters was Akin Robinson with 18 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, and 12 steals. While Tough Nuts' Nashon Maynard threw up 14 points, pulled 16 rebounds, 17 steals, and 7 blocks. Will St. Paul's be able to rebound and retake the series lead, or will momentum stay with hitters heading into Game 3? The outcome will be decided on Sunday at Basketball City. That game starts at 8 p.m. Partnership is essential to growth in countries within the region. This is according to Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, and he says it is necessary for improving lives of citizens. His comments came on Thursday morning during the start of the 2015 High-Level Caribbean Forum.
Sustainable growth, of course, requires partnership. Partnership among the economic actors. Partnership between the public and private sectors, partnership between government, and partnership between the government and the international financial institutions, which should serve us well.
President of the Caribbean Development Bank, Dr. Warren Smith, pledged the bank's support to the growth in the region.
As we approach the critical decision point for the full adoption and start of implementation of the post-2015 development agenda, I welcome this opportunity to reflect on the requirements for financing growth in our region and the contributions which we can all make to the transformation process. We at the CDB are committed to playing our part and to help make that achievement of sustainable rates of growth a reality.
Focused on the theme Financing Growth, the forum is a two-day discussion among finance officials from across the region. It wraps up on Friday. The local Seventh-day Adventist Church has joined the many organizations and individuals in St. Kitts and Nevis who are helping with the Dominica relief efforts. On Thursday evening, the Seventh-day Adventist Coordinating Council announced through a release that the churches within the South Leeward Mission of Seventh-day Adventists will on Saturday, 5th September, collect a special offering for the storm-ravaged island. According to the release, the special offerings will be supplemented by funds collected from the churches in Gathering campaign, which is an annual program that allows individuals and organizations to make financial contributions for disaster relief. Regionally, in news from Antigua and Barbuda, CIBC First Caribbean International Bank is warning its customers to be wary of what appears to be the country's latest phishing scam. Phishing is a form of email fraud in which the perpetrator sends out an email that looks legitimate in an attempt to gather personal and financial information from its recipients.
At least one person has reported a fraudulent email coming from CIBC First Caribbean International Bank. The fraudulent email informs the recipient that they've won a reward from the bank and then requests personal information for the prize to be claimed. Though the CIBC First Caribbean Bank has not issued an official statement on the matter, representatives are advising persons who have received the fraudulent mail to forward it to fraud@cibcfcic.com.
In just over 72 hours, more than 1 million Trinidadians and Tobagonians will go to the polls to elect a new government. It will be a straight fight between the ruling People Partnership government and the main opposition People's National Movement.
Already, some people, special voters as they are called, are already casting their ballots. The communications manager at the Elections and Boundaries Commission, the EBC, is Dominic Hines.
Special voting currently taking place. It started on Tuesday, the 1st of September, and it runs until Sunday, 6th of September. So far, the process has been very smooth. Everything seems to be going according to schedule.
But not everybody is happy about the elections. Timothy Hamill-Smith, the former Senate president and who on many occasions acted as the president of Trinidad and Tobago, he's calling on voters to cast a negative vote. In fact, he says, spoil the ballot.
Yes, I am the one who promoted the NOTA campaign. But it runs in parallel, if you like, with the Third Force movement. Your democratic right is to protest by putting a line through your ballot paper, writing none across your ballot paper, writing NOTA, whatever you want, because those votes have to be counted by the EBC. You will know how many people decided to protest. If you think the status quo is all right, stay home and do nothing. But this allows the silent majority, if you like, to come out and have a vote and vote silently, but vote against the status quo. Vote for a fair vote, because you are entitled to have representation in Parliament.
The elections will be monitored by teams from regional and international groups, including the Commonwealth. In fact, the Commonwealth is sending a 6-member team to monitor the polls on Monday. The EBC says there are more than 2,000 polling stations scattered across Trinidad and Tobago, and they will open at 6 o'clock in the morning and will stay open for at least 12 hours.
Internationally, a New York teen paralyzed in a swimming accident last spring is walking again after making an amazing recovery. WCBS TV's Hazel Sanchez reports.
17-year-old Nico Fiorello showed off his newfound ability to walk a few steps without any help. Just 3 months ago, while swimming at Jones Beach, the Seaford teen was left paralyzed after diving headfirst into a sandbar hidden below the waves.
I was face down in the water for a while. I couldn't really ask for help.
Friends and lifeguards whisked the critically injured teen to Nassau University Medical Center for emergency neck surgery.
There was a fracture in the bone here, and the piece of bone had pushed into the spinal cord.
Doctors say Nico could only wiggle his toes, adding that only 10% of anyone suffering such a severe neck injury ever walks again. Nico's parents were in shock at the prospects.
I was like, oh my God. I'm like, he's like never going to walk again. What am I going to do? He's 17. This can't be, not my baby. And he hates when I say that.
After several surgeries to insert rods while fusing two neck vertebrae together, doctors watched in amazement as Nico quickly progressed through physical therapy to finally stand up on his own. A recovery so rapid, Nico is now ready to re-enter high school for his senior year.
I'm really happy to be able to go back to school and see my friends. They're all proud of me and happy to see me.
Tomorrow's my birthday, and he's going back to school, so that's the best present ever.
Fiorello says he plans to go on to college with hopes of becoming a physical therapist and helping others.
There's always hope and there's always a positivity and a way to get better. You just got to believe.
A sincere faith Nico Fiorello proves with every determined step. At Nassau University Medical Center, Hazel Sanchez, CBS 2 News.
Crime rates are down in some cities in the Philippines. Al Jazeera reports that human rights groups say the drop is due to suspected criminals being killed by so-called death squads. Al Jazeera's Maga Ortigas reports from Dipolog in the southern Philippines.
Dipolog claims to be among the safest cities in the Philippines, but many people here claim that's because crimes go unreported. In local churches, priests have condemned the large number of unsolved killings in the city. Activists allege that over the last few years, at least 1 to 2 people are executed every week out in the open by gunmen on motorbikes who don't even hide their faces. They say that none of those cases has ever been prosecuted. Vittorio Dante Dalman, a trial court judge in a neighboring town, says that he tried to file a complaint. His brother was shot dead in his car over a year ago, in front of the Capitol building. But Dalman says witnesses were too scared to go on record.
They have the guts, they have that boldness to stage the killing. In broad daylight, it is as if they are saying that, okay, nobody cares because we cannot be caught.
There are 100 cops in this city of 130,000. People say they're slow to respond and allege that they're operating like a private army with its own set of rules and masters.
Aside from the police, there are so-called auxiliary forces active here.
Dozens of civilians said to be armed and paid by the local government to act as enforcers. People here seem to talk about them with fear. Radio commentator Nick Carbonell is known for speaking out against what he sees as state-sponsored impunity. He says that his workplace and his home have been shot at several times.
Why is it the victims of these killings are only those opposed to the mayor? It's as if there is a conspiracy between high officials and the police.
The 3-term mayor, whose husband is the provincial governor, denies the allegations and says the only conspiracy is that made up against her family by a rival political clan.
The name has always been dragged to this one by the other group, but it has never been, there's no any proof on that.
There is still no official investigation to get to the truth. But either way, many in Dipolog are concerned. Lawlessness is common, and they say they don't know where to turn for justice. Marga Ortigas, Al Jazeera, Dipolog, Southern Philippines.
Taking a look at the weather, temperature is recorded at 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Sunrise tomorrow should be at 5:58 a.m. while sunset is expected today at 6:21 p.m. Winds are from the east-northeast to the east-southeast at 6 to 12 miles per hour. Seas are moderate with waves up to 5 feet. An upper-level low-pressure system along with an associated trough will increase instability across the Incas Nevis. Today is expected to be partly sunny with periods of increased cloudiness and scattered showers, while tonight is forecast to be partly cloudy with occasional increase in cloudiness with scattered showers. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Mid newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for joining us. I'm Nisha David. Good stuff.